So the issue with New Zealand is we have a small market, there's not a whole lot of stock around, and hardware can feel very expensive. So that's the challenge, guys. We need to see if we can build something better than a PlayStation 5 under $800 using all kinds of weird and wacky places like AliExpress, Temu, Trade Me, and Facebook Marketplace. Let me show you what I came up with, and hopefully it's something that you enjoy. The RAM crisis was in full effect when I bought this kit, so I ended up paying 131 New Zealand dollars for a 16GB kit of G-Skill Ripjaws RAM. It's clocked at 3000 megahertz, bought on Trade Me. It seems to work fine so far. 16GB is about the minimum you would want for gaming these days, but this is a decent kit of RAM. I've seen cheaper kits now, so maybe things are starting to calm down a bit. We can only hope. So the motherboard is a bit of a weird one. I bought this Soyo B450M from AliExpress, so it took about 2 weeks to arrive. The reason I chose this was because it's about half the price of any used AM4 boards on the used market. So I chose Soyo because it had a nicer looking board than the other Chinese manufactured boards. It had nice heat sinks and so on. It's a bit of a quirky one with an old school looking BIOS, but other than that, it's working great so far. So for the processor, we've gone for a classic, the Ryzen 5 3600. This is an old school processor from 2019, 6 cores, 12 threads, but holds up very, very well in 2026. The reason I went with this one, just simply the best value for money you can get. This one was from AliExpress as well. It was $115. For the case, we've gone with the Deepcool Mark-U 110, a used purchase on Trade Me for $40. It's a nice simple case with a removable tempered glass side panel. It's pretty clean and unfussy looking. Plenty of room for graphics cards. Easy cable management, lots of clearance behind the motherboard tray. Just to note, the front panel is a solid one, so I've used the fans on the top. Now for the power supply, we've used a 500 watt EVGA bronze unit. It's a non-modular one, so just a basic cheapo. Does the job, not too much to say about it really. You push the button and the computer turns on. This was $50 from Trade Me. We have a 256GB SSD for storage. It's probably come from a laptop, judging by the listing. I'd say that's just what you have to do these days because of the chip shortage. These drives can be very, very expensive. For cooling, we have 3 generic RGB fans from AliExpress. Ice Whale is the brand, I think. They're fine, they do the job. We also have this CPU cooler that I added, but the RGB was a little too intense, so we didn't end up using that. I also added this $12 PCIe wireless adapter, just for convenience really. And finally, we have the most important part of any gaming build, the graphics card. We have the RX 6600 XT. It's really a 1080p card, but very, very high performing, and if you're happy to use it with FSR, you can easily do 1440p gaming. This card was originally listed for $300 on Marketplace, however we were able to negotiate the seller down to $270, which I think is a great deal. Okay, now that the system is built, we need to answer a question. And the question is, can the computer play games? So here we are in Arc Raiders, a very, very popular title that just recently came out. I know a lot of you who are building a computer will be wanting to play this. As you can see, we are putting all the settings on high. We're at 1080p, not using any FSR other than for anti-aliasing. Here we are traversing one of the maps in the open. There's no real combat or other players in the environment at the moment, Things run pretty smoothly around here, so we got sort of 70 to 90 frames per second. We could of course make that much higher if we added some FSR to the deal here. We've run into a player. Thankfully he didn't want to kill us, because if he did, I would have lost that fight and the video would be over. But yeah, no issues with him popping up there. Getting into combat, we do see the frame rate drop just slightly down to sort of more 65, 75 sort of area. Definitely no issues playing the game at all using the RX 6600 XT and the Ryzen 3600. A very powerful combo indeed. So yeah, combat not too bad. Very happy with the performance of Arcadia's on this system. Just to satisfy my curiosity, I did try enabling FSR, put it on balance and lowered some settings, and we were getting more like 100 to 120 frames per second. So if you're a little more competitive and you wanted to try high refresh rate gaming on this, you absolutely could. So here we are in Valve's famous Counter-Strike 2. I was a big fan of the original games, 1.6 and Source. Didn't play much of Global Offensive, but yeah, Counter-Strike 2 is a great game. Had a little bit of a go with it, and it yeah, feels like old times. Anyway, yeah, running pretty well here. We've got the settings turned up pretty high, which is not normally what you want to do for competitive shooters, but I thought, you know, we'll test the system out, see what it can do. So we're averaging sort of between 150 and 200 something frames per second, which is more than enough for most people with their high refresh rate monitor, 144 Hz and so on. Yeah, pretty happy with how this runs. Of course, if I was playing competitively, trying to win and all that sort of stuff, would have the settings turned way down. Everything would probably be stretched and it would look hideous, but I would be clicking on heads as best as I could. So yeah, very happy with Counter-Strike on the system. Pretty much all the esport titles will work flawlessly with this setup. So if you're looking at competitive gaming, yeah, you can definitely grab a system like this and be very happy with your purchase. Okay, and for the last game we're going to be testing, we've got Ready or Not, which is a tactical police shooter. So this game is on the Unreal 5 engine, just like Arcadia, so you can expect sort of similar performance. But the thing about the Unreal engine is that it's infamous for just causing your system to struggle with their games. Most games are pretty poorly optimized, so if you can run UE5 games, your system's doing pretty well. And as we can see here, we've got the settings turned up pretty high, and it is handling it like a champ. No issues playing this game. We're getting sort of, what, 70 to 90 frames per second with no issues here. So very happy with the performance of Ready or Not. Finally, I thought we'd just test the system out with a benchmark. So we're using the Nomad benchmark here just to see how the system is comparing to other systems with similar specs. So yeah, these things always look really choppy to me. I don't really know how they reflect games, because we're getting 18 frames per second and it's a pretty old benchmark, so I've never understood that. We're getting a score of 1835, scoring slightly above the average here. I'm not sure if that's the average of systems with the same specs as mine or all systems, but yeah, either way, pretty happy with that result. If you're in New Zealand, this is what I can tell you about building a system on a budget. Make sure you buy your RAM used and your SSD used, and also your graphics card. Make sure you buy that used too. The reason why you should definitely buy your RAM used is because the prices of RAM are just outrageous right now. There's no reason to pay full price for RAM. Make sure you get it used and buy something better once the RAM crisis is over. When it comes to motherboards, you can get really good deals from places like AliExpress and Temu, especially if you're on the AM4 platform. For some reason, you can just buy brand new motherboards from China about half the price as the used stuff in New Zealand. So I would be patient, order from AliExpress, get something from there, and it might be a little janky, but you can usually figure these things out and get a really good motherboard for the price. Other things to consider getting from AliExpress or Temu are CPU coolers, fans, and anything that has RGB on it. These tend to be way cheaper on AliExpress, and you can get yourself a pretty good deal there. Finally, when you are dealing with buying used things on Marketplace or TradeMe, A, make sure you're always polite to sellers, and B, always ask for a deal. If you communicate well, you're clear about what you want, you're clear about when and where you can pick up and how you're going to pay, people will be inclined to do business with you. I like to always aim for a minimum of 10% off anything on Marketplace. If people aren't willing to trade with you, just ignore them, move on. There's always another deal around the corner. So be patient and see what you can come up with. Okay guys, that pretty much wraps up the video. Please drop me a like and a comment if you learned anything, and also subscribe to the channel. We have more stuff coming later. There's going to be more videos in the future. I hope you like this format. We're probably going to do more build orientated stuff. We'll look at some used components. If there's anything that you are interested in that you want me to make a video about, particularly around the New Zealand market, let me know and we'll see what we can come up with. Have a good day everyone, and enjoy your games.